I believe we're going back to back with the sessions, and it looks like an assorted thali with a lot of insights coming in for all of you, just the way we love our great Indian thalis as well. But on that note, let's gear up because up next we have a very interesting keynote session lined up for all of you, and it's important to get some wonderful set of perspectives flowing in from a very, very eminent speaker. Now, to figure out what it takes to be a Michelin star chef come restaurateur and what the future of India food would look like in the new normal, we have with us two-time Michelin starred chef, restaurateur and entrepreneur, Chef Atul Kochhar. In fact, his unique talent as a twice Michelin-starred chef has changed the way people perceive and experience Indian cuisine. Taking inspiration from his native India, while continuously researching regional dishes, he's managed to combine his heritage with his love of British ingredients to create a unique and innovative modern Indian cuisine. Now, since 1994, he has been at the forefront of Indian cuisine, achieving his first Michelin star in 2001. His contemporary style and love for traditional cooking techniques led him to open his own restaurant, Benares, which won him a Michelin star in 2007 as well. I know that he's a man who doesn't need a lot of introduction because a lot of us are already eagerly waiting for him to share his insights with all of you. So on that note, let me hand over the session to Chef Atul Kochhar. Thank you very much, sir, for joining us this afternoon, and over to you, sir.
Thank you, Kavya. Thanks a lot. Gosh, that was some introduction. I now have to live up to it. That's the challenge. Right, guys, very, very good morning. Good afternoon to you all. Sun is shining in London. At least that's one positive I can tell you. It's been raining heavily since yesterday. There's a huge forecast of rain coming entire this week. And I before I start talking about the business, I do hope you all are safe, healthy, you and your loved ones. I know it's been pretty grim in India at the moment, but hopefully we will see that through very soon and get back to real life and do what we do best. That's to feed and make people happy. Right. So I've been given a few pointers that things I can talk and things I should tell you that how we have done things here. Now, building and running a global restaurant, it's quite a wide subject, to be honest. And I never went out to build a big restaurant company or a chain. My aim was to whatever I do it well and focus on how I look at things in terms of in my own sphere. But as time has gone, your responsibilities increase, your family increases. People who work with you, they have their aspirations. And as their boss, as their leader, it becomes your motive to help and support them. And I've always been about people, just not my own family, but my stretched and extended family, people who work with me in my different restaurants and my partners. So whenever I have opened a new restaurant, it has not been about I need it or it's a greed. It's always been about why do we need it? And I've always asked that question to myself and to my team, that why do we need to open another restaurant? Or why do we need to extend a part of the service that we need to excel into? Because whatever you do, you have to do it well. Otherwise, there's no point doing it. So because the family expands and there are talented people within the team who need to be looked after, that has always been my motto. Somebody gave me a helping hand a long time ago, and I promised that I will continue to lend that to others. And I have been all my life, all 30 years I have been cooking, and I have been passing it on to whichever way I can. My personal needs are very simple. I could just live in my 2-bedroom apartment and be with my wife and my children. But I reach out to people who work with me and people who need me. So coming back to the restaurant industry, how do we manage the global brand? I think the essence of managing anything is your team. You have to invest in good human resources. Obviously, all those mantras of location, supply, all that comes in. But if you don't have right human resources, you are not going to succeed. And I've always followed that. I love nurturing people. I love working with people who have potential, or their potential can be harnessed in a bigger and a better way. And I've always wondered that so much talent which comes to the industry gets distracted or gets stolen by other industry. And when I passed out from Oberoi School and started working, slowly a lot of my classmates and my batchmates and also people after me decided to leave the industry. And that time, I think call centers were the big boom. We lost out to a lot of people there. And then travel industry had a boom, so we lost out a lot of hospitality people there, though it's a related industry. But losing real good talent to other subsidiary industry is a big challenge for us, because as a hospitality industry, we train a wholesome human. We don't make engineers, politicians, doctors, but we make all of that in one person, because we are trained to deal with all that. Not that as a doctor, I'm going to conduct a surgery, but I could be there in the need of the person who needs me and give him the support and the help they need. So that's the strength of the hospitality industry. Now, coming back again, I keep digressing, but the subject is so big. What I want to basically talk more about is how important it is to focus on human resources now than ever before, especially after the pandemic. A lot of lives are destroyed, but we have to bring our industry back to its feet again, which we will. We are the most resilient industry in the world, in my opinion. We will spring back to action in no time. When this pandemic started, I said it very openly, and I was very vocal about it. And I said, after medical industry, hospitality industry is the best placed industry in terms of dealing with the virus, because we are trained to clean the surfaces all day, how to keep people safe, how to feed them safely, how to make sure that their food and nutrition is right. We are well trained in that. Just tell us, give us the guidelines, and we will follow it. And we will follow it to the T. And we will keep our society safe, because that's where we thrive. We want to keep our industry going. Sadly, we were the ones who were given the blame, at least here in the UK, when the second wave came in, that we spread it out, but later it came out, it wasn't us, it was everybody. So again, going back to the global restaurant brand, you have to, when you build a brand, you start thinking in the small steps. What needs to be right? After human resources, my biggest focus is always on supply chain. What can I get, what I can't get? Which geographical location I'm in, what is available. And I'm always quite big, very big actually, on what I put on my menu. Anything that I can't find in my local surroundings will not be on my menu. And that does mean that my challenges are only the seasonal, what I can get or what I can't get. I don't want ships and planes laden with ingredients landing on our port or shores, and me and my chefs waiting to grab them and start cooking. I rather work with the local farmer who will tell me that, for next 2 weeks, I'll be able to give you, let's say, courgette, and after that, it'll be marrow, and then finally, we might be able to get you some asparagus. And I will make my menu around it. I have no problem with that. But if I had to rely on a particular kind of fish which had to be flown in from Atlantic Ocean, across the ocean, and brought to us, I'm not sure whether my supply chain would be right. Maybe it's good today, but maybe in 2 weeks' time or 3 weeks' time, it may not be. Or the supply runs out because there is such an over demand of it. So I always focus, always take small steps. Call me conservative, but it has always helped me. All my restaurants, most of my menus are always about what we can get in our vicinity. Then it comes about brand awareness, that how you make people understand what you're doing. Do you engage with your surroundings? Do you engage with the diaspora? Do you cook for people who live around there? There's no point me taking my cuisine all the way down to somewhere in South America and Argentina or Chile, where people do not appreciate what I cook. I'd rather be in a region where people have good understanding how the spices work, how the food works, how the Indian culture works. There's a massive challenge about Indian cuisine as such. How do we define Indian cuisine? We don't have one cuisine. We have, maybe 300 different cuisines happening at a given time. How do we harness that? How do we use that strength to our benefit? And I recently, when I opened Saga in Gurgaon, we came up with a concept that we will call it Cuisines of India, because that's what describes us rightly. We just can't be doing North Indian, or we just can't be doing South Indian all our lives. We have worked divided for a very long time. But I saw, after leaving India for the first time, that how a restaurant, any given restaurant here, they call it Indian restaurant, and I will call it Indian subcontinental restaurant, because I really do not see the political borders of the countries on Indian subcontinent. I appreciate, admire, and love all the cuisines of Indian subcontinent, be it Pakistani, Afghani, Bangladeshi, Nepalese, Sri Lankan, or our own subcultural cuisine. And when you work with that thought and process, you have so much to play with. You have got so much more inspiration going through. And it really makes your palate, it makes your menu extremely rich. And when I started doing that for Saga, I realized it's not one lifetime's work. It'll be a very long inning here. And we need lots of partners. We need lots of people across the country who are pro in these. They know how the culture was, how the stories happen, how the stories were weaved around the food, or the food was created around the stories. The farmers who grow ingredients for us day in, day out. And also partnering with people who can actually validate it, that why we are doing it. That's also extremely important. When people understand what they are eating and why they are eating, there is so much more joy in the food, because they have the sense of it. They feel the strength of the farmer who grew that, the story of the granny who weaved that story around that food, and also the chef who cooked it, and the waiter who served them with great passion. The whole experience comes alive. I do believe in building the brand on the back of doing great PR and marketing, no doubt about it. But that's part of storytelling. You have to have that. I've always said the world would come to an end the day Coca-Cola stops marketing and branding, and they continue to do so. It's perhaps the most valuable and most revered and loved brand across the world. There are many more to be spoken about, but I think from a childhood to my almost middle age and going towards old age, I can say that the Coca-Cola remains one favorite brand, which is always there, and there is so much to be learned from them. There are more subjects, more niches that are associated with building a brand, and you have to focus carefully that what you want, where you want to take your restaurant brand, and how you build it. Whether you just want to remain in one part of the world or you want to take it to the different parts of the world, you would have to interact. That brand has to interact with the local population, with the people of country you imagine or you want to go to. It's kind of science and also common sense. You have to be able to sell those products to people who want to be engaged in that. Long ago in 70s and 80s, America wasn't the place to take Indian food to, or any fine food, to be honest. But now, after 90s, America is the most, I think, desired place to take our cuisine to that land. And also, any fine food, any chef you look at, 3 Michelin star chef, they have a dream to have a restaurant in America. Yes, Europe holds the culture. Yes, Asia holds the culture. But America holds the population. America holds the taste. America holds the strength to be able to scale the product. And I think that's where the strength lies, that, do you want to make a product which is going to be super fine dining? You want something in the middle of the road? Or you want really 3 Michelin star focused restaurant? When you're building a 3 Michelin star restaurant, you better stay in one place. You just stick to that and not expand, because that requires whole family to work on that brand. You want to go middle of the road, your market can be bigger. You want really casual dining, the world is the plate for you. Then you can go wherever you want. So that's the aim I always have taken. After working for super fine dining and refining everything and making sure there's not a speck on the plate for ages. I've cooked for 3 decades now. Makes me sound like a dinosaur. But I have always practiced fine dining cuisine. It's in last 5 odd years I've started focusing on middle of the road restaurants. And I'm not saying that they are bad restaurants, but they are slightly more casual. They are more fun related restaurants where people have an easy life. They not easy life, but easy atmosphere. And they kind of enjoy more, to be honest. The music can be loud, whereas in the fine dining, even if the fork falls on the floor, everybody looks at you that what happened there. Whereas here, it's more casual attitude. And then there is a third one, which is mass market restaurants, I would say, where you really feed the masses and your price points are very different. So all those things need to be focused on when you're building a restaurant brand. And I have recently started focusing on building my restaurant pyramid, I call it. So on the top of pyramid, I'm going to keep my Michelin star restaurant. In the middle, I will have a brand coming through very soon, which we have about to launch, which we want to roll it out across the UK at the moment, around London mainly. And then I'm working on the third brand, which will be the bottom of the pyramid, which will be quite large, quite huge, quite chunky, quite loud, but also celebrating what we do best in terms of our street food. So I have taken that route. I might be wrong, but that works the best for me, to be honest. And I've over 30 years of work, I've come to understand that you have to give people spaces where they are comfortable in, and there has to be a market or a product. When there's a market, there's a product as well. So there has to be a product for everyone, in my opinion. If I just did fine dining, I was limited to very, very few numbers. When I came down to the second tier restaurants, I had larger number. When I come down to the third tier restaurant, I have the whole world to me, to be honest. So that's the focus I have at the moment, and I'm diligently working hard and consistently fine-tuning my concepts, and that's what we are building towards. Now, future of Indian food, it's anyone's game, to be honest. I think it's the fastest growing cuisine, in my opinion. When I came into the United Kingdom in 1994, we were opening a curry house. The best of the chefs, best of the connoisseurs in the world looked at Indian restaurants as merely curry houses and nothing else. But over the years, we have worked hard and changed that tide. We became, in next 5-7 years, we became restaurant power to be reckoned with. We got all the accolades that were available to any restaurant in the industry that time. We started getting Michelin stars. We started getting invited to KT Awards and many more, to be honest. And as time has gone by, more people have joined in, and the force has become really strong. It's a force to reckon with, in my opinion. And restaurant industry is poised to have a look at what Indian food can do. It's one of the most acceptable cuisine, in my opinion, in the world today. I think South America is the only continent which is on my mind that hasn't managed to connect with Indian food. But time will tell. Maybe we will one day, because there are ingredients that are similar to ours. And the chili, the great chili which we use in our food, actually came from South America. So we have to make a connect. We have to make a social bonding and a psychological connect with that land. And I think we will be able to harness it. It may not happen in my time, guys, but there might be chefs who will be brave to go there and start that revolution. So Indian food, I think world is just opening up, guys. There is so much more to be done, not only abroad, but within India also. We need a lot more fantastic restaurant concepts, serving our own cuisine, taking us to another level, recognizing the strength we have, and also telling the world the right story. There are lots of stories about our food, and I would like the real picture of Indian food to come to the world arena, in my opinion. Now, fine dining versus fun dining, I did touch while talking about my own concepts. Fine dining will always remain, to be honest. I don't think that'll ever go away. Fun dining is a new thing which has come in, and we Indians have been fun dining for a long time. Street food is nothing but fun dining, but we have started making it slightly more formal. We have brought it into restaurant environment. Whether you call it a large space where there are a few kiosks like a food court, or a restaurant giving you a menu and you choosing from it, and fantastic chefs cooking those great dishes that comes to your table, and you savor them and enjoy them in reality the way it should be. Or I'll just give a very good example of there's a chart guy in Lucknow who I follow very closely because I love his persona more than his food, his persona, the way he carries himself. He wears a Gandhi topi and works with his hands. And I think he's quite an accomplished man financially as well. But he just loves being among people. So, and he has created this chart environment, people who come more, not just to eat, but also to interact with him. So I think that kind of interaction, the human interaction, is very important when you make the fun dining places. If you don't have that, then fun dining places, just food coming on your table, is very boring. You have to have the right kind of music, right kind of ambience. I would go to the sense of saying that you need to have a right kind of smell in the restaurant also. It's very sensorial. You have to work very hard to make fun dining restaurants work well. And I'll give one classic example, which is in London. So because I live here, so I've seen it time and time again, and which is incredibly popular restaurant and does incredibly well financially as well. And that is Nobu and Roka. I think those two restaurants are my top choices, though they work with Japanese food. But who said Indian food cannot work in that arena? Indian food, if anything, Indian food should be on the top of that arena, in my opinion. We just have to put our mind to it, and we'll be able to make it work. Now, challenges, there will always be challenges. What will be a human life without challenges? I think we'll be bored. We'll wake up, eat, and sleep. I don't want to do that. I want challenges in my life. Good, bad, ugly, all the challenges make you only a better human. And our industry, we just know challenges only. All we do is we solve challenges all day. That's what I have done all my life. Whether it's a small challenge or a big challenge, it can be a political challenge, it can be emotional challenge, it can be financial challenge, but we would have to deal with all of that. And I think with that, I'm not kind of degrading any other industry, but I have a huge pride that I'm a hospitality personnel, and I have huge respect for my brothers and sisters in hospitality who deal with this every day, day in, day out, and they do it really well. So a big shout out to them. So thank you, guys. I'll be very happy to take any questions if you have.
Thank you very much indeed, Chef Atul. I believe there are just a couple of questions that I've poured in, and I just thought I'd share them with you. It's with regard to the current crisis. At the same time, we have a bunch of people, the ones who come under the category of restaurants, and then the ones who are home chefs as well. What, according to you, is the future for home chefs, and what differently can they do in order to embrace this change?
The home chef phenomena is quite recent, to be honest, and I think I'll rephrase that. It's been recently recognized, and the home chefs have always been there. They have always made a massive difference to the hospitality industry. We need to recognize it, and we need to make sure that they are given their podium, they are given their stage, and they are given their recognition. Very, very important, because they carry something very important, and that is the culture. Because they are cooking from home, they are feeding from home, and the kind of emotional connect they bring, sometimes we as professional chefs don't do that, or don't do that as effectively as they do. So I have a lot of love and respect, and I do want to focus a lot more to help them grow whichever way possible. Do they want to become a small home industry? Do they want to become a supplier to a specific business? There are, the market is open. I think it's an open world, in my opinion. And I actually, in time, I would like to tick that off, the home thing. For me, they're chefs. That's what, period. If I can do it, they can do it. So what if I had professional training? My mother never had any professional training. But I'm sorry to use this word, but she still kicks my ass when it comes to food. She's still great. So, I totally, absolutely love and adore home chefs. And I think they should do a lot more. They can contribute a lot more. And for my menus, I love to work with home chefs, because to develop home menus, there is nobody better than home chefs to guide you through.
I believe those are not just candid, but very dynamic thoughts that you shared, Chef Atul. There's one more question coming in from Seema, and the question is, how are the deliveries happening in London? How are they being handled now?
The deliveries are, since the first lockdown, we had to go onto that mode, and they're quite fine. We have a few models. We have Deliveroo here, and we have Supper London, and there are many more. Uber Eat. Plus, a lot of people, a lot of larger groups, they have their own delivery system as well, which works incredibly well. Without trivializing it, that who takes what and how much they take, I would say that what we need to grow out as an industry and grow out of this pandemic is, whether it's the delivery platform or the restaurant or the supplier, we need to come together. If we all survive, we will all be fine. Because if we try to kind of show a carnivorous attitude towards the other part of the delivery model, the whole delivery model will collapse. So people need to understand, I'm not saying much, but I'm saying everything in this. And I think everybody needs to make money in the product.
Wonderful indeed, Chef Atul. With that, thank you so much for actually joining us at this beautiful conclave and gracing us with your presence and your insights. I think it's absolutely befitting. A lot of people giving a lot of thumbs up and saying they're huge fans and sending in all the notes there. But thank you so much again for joining us.
Thank you, folks. Lovely meeting you all. Hope to see you all soon in person one day. Bye-bye.
Thank you again. All right, ladies and gentlemen, attendees, please note we have all the sessions happening for you. So please do share your questions. I believe we managed to get a question here from one Ankita, and that is after we close the session. So I'm going to request you all, please drop in your questions. As time permits, we will take them up. Meanwhile, we have a video coming up for all of you on the screen. And after that, we'll get started with our next panel discussion.
Go.